True or false? Episode 1. Dog facts you might take for granted. Dogs only see in black and white. False. This has been a belief since the 1920s, but dogs can see yellow and blue, which makes them colorblind in the same way that we humans are colorblind. Their eyes have 2 types of color receptors, or cones, as opposed to the 3 that the average person does. Dogs are descendants of wolves? True. Wolves and dogs share 99.9% of their DNA. In other words, dogs as we know them are domesticated wolves. Genetic evidence suggests that dogs split from their wolf ancestors between 27,000 and 40,000 years ago. And according to scientists, the ancestor was the modern gray wolf. And it might seem very unbelievable, but the Shih Tzu has the most wolf DNA of any dog, even if it doesn't look like a wolf. A dog's mouth is cleaner than a human's. False. You might really believe this, but it isn't true for many reasons. Dogs mostly explore the world with their mouths and noses, so you never know where they've been snooping around. While some germs in your dog's mouth are typically specific to dogs, some pathogens like salmonella and certain rare bacteria strains can be passed on to humans by the dog's saliva. Dogs and cats are mortal enemies? False. It's a common belief that's created by cartoons and even movies that dogs and cats don't get along. Most people who've owned both at the same time can tell you a different story. However, dogs and cats can become perfectly sociable as long as they're introduced properly. But for breeds like greyhounds and Afghan hounds, it's a bit harder to socialize with cats as they have a very high prey drive. But it isn't something that can't be fixed. The Russians used dogs during World War II to be kamikazes. True. Yes, and it gets more cruel. The kamikaze dogs were trained as puppies that going to the tanks will get them food. And after that, the Russian army fitted them with explosives and then encouraged them to go to the tanks, armored vehicles, and other targets. This happened when the Germans advanced towards Moscow in 1941, and Soviet troops were in a nearly hopeless situation because they lacked effective anti-tank weapons. Some dogs are born with a short tail? False. This is the most common misconception for breeds like Doberman, Rottweiler, Schnauzer, various of Spaniels, and others. People have created this image about them since having their tail docked is how they're mostly represented. But just like all dog breeds, they're all born with a long tail that's docked to create a certain physical impression and sometimes to avoid health issues. Malinois is the smartest dog breed? False. A lot of people really believe this due to the fact that the Belgian Malinois is used in so many jobs and shines in obedience training. The smartest dog in the world is actually the Border Collie, leaving behind many breeds who are considered to be very intelligent. In fact, the Belgian Malinois is ranked the 26th on the list of the most intelligent dog breeds. Dogs can dream? True. Scientists believe dogs have similar sleep patterns to humans, and that small breeds of dogs dream more than large breeds. Just as humans stir and twitch during REM sleep, dogs do the same. So if you've spotted your dog twitching in his sleep, he's probably dreaming. Well, we're all dreamers, aren't we? Dogs feel guilt. False. Our dogs communicate a broad range of emotions to us, but there's no evidence to support the fact that they feel secondary emotions like shame or guilt. While you may stumble across cute videos of dogs feeling guilty online, it's been thought that it's actually a learned response to a human reaction. You can't teach an old dog new tricks? False. One of the more common dog myths, this one, is just as mythical as the rest. While there's some truth to dogs needing to be socialized from an early age to help prevent behavior problems as they age, it doesn't mean your older dog can't still learn. This is 100% proved by Chaser, a border collie that's considered to be the world's smartest dog. Well, he's reached senior status and is still learning new tricks. Small dog breeds are not good watchdogs? False. People tend to forget that although these dog breeds are smaller in size, they still have a keen sense of hearing, swift reflexes, and a whole lot of devotion for their owners. Small dogs such as Chihuahuas, Jack Russell Terriers, miniature Schnauzers, and Dachshunds may not be able to knock down an intruder as a Doberman can, but they are relentless canines. These dogs will not hesitate to let their human companion know if any animal or human tries to invade their territory. Dogs know what time it is? True. And no, you can't postpone their mealtime because it's been proven that they know the difference between an hour and 5. If conditioned to, they can predict future events, such as regular walk time. Some stray dogs in Russia have learned the schedule of the subway and use it to transport themselves to different places in order to find food. Rottweilers and Dobermans might turn on their owners? False. The chance of a Rottweiler or Doberman to attack their owner is just as possible as any dog breed. These two get the most spotlight as they're already prejudiced as dangerous. In fact, Rottweiler and Dobermans are more likely to attack someone else to defend you rather than attack you personally. And just like any dog breed, they need proper training and socialization. Rescue dogs are all damaged? False. Many people are put off getting their dog from a rescue center because they think they'll come from a home with a whole host of problems or behavior issues. Actually, the most common reason for dogs needing our help to find them a new home is that their previous owner no longer had the time to care for a pet, and most of them are healthy and obedient and happy to find their new family. There's a dog breed that doesn't bark? True. As many of you might associate barking with dogs as an act that's authentic of dogs and that's present in all breeds. But this isn't true, as Basenji never barks, but mostly because he can. Basenji has flat vocal cords and can't produce the strong sound blast of a typical bark. Dogs can sniff at the same time as breathing? True. Well, dogs rely a lot on their sense of smell to find food, potential dangers, and friends. So needless to say, they sniff a lot. Their noses are designed so smells can stay in their nose while air can move in and out of their lungs at the same time, which means they can still breathe freely and still work out what that smell is. All dogs are good swimmers? False. Most dogs are great swimmers, but there are some that can't even stay above the water's surface. The dogs that have a powerful chest and heavy skull are not very good swimmers, such as bulldogs, mastiffs, dachshunds, and boxers. Keep in mind that small dogs should be put into water in a more careful way because they're more prone to hypothermia. Dogs feel guilt. False. Our dogs communicate a broad range of emotions to us, but there's no evidence to support the fact that they feel secondary emotions like shame or guilt. While you may stumble across cute videos of dogs feeling guilty online, it's been thought that it's actually a learned response to a human reaction. Pit bulls will lock their jaws if they bite you. False. This is a myth created by people who want the pit bull to look aggressive and dangerous. But it isn't true, as this breed doesn't have any special physical mechanism or enzyme that allows them to lock their jaws. If you compare a pit bull skull to the skull of any other dog breed, you can see with the naked eye that both skulls share the same characteristics and general bone structure. Pit bulls and bully breeds are the most dangerous? False. This is so wrong, it just had to be addressed. Pit bulls, among other bully breeds, are the ones that were mostly used for dogfighting. Due to this, people created a false but bad reputation about them, and also they have physical characteristics that make them look very intimidating. Therefore, people are afraid of them and call them dangerous, which is wrong. A dog's nose is like a human fingerprint? True. Just as we humans can be identified by our fingerprints, dogs can be identified by their nose prints. No two dogs have the same nose. Each has a unique pattern of ridges and creases. The patterns can even be used to identify individual animals. The Canadian Kennel Club has been accepting dog nose prints as proof of identity since 1938. Dogs should eat like wolves? False. Some dog owners believe that dogs ought to be fed with raw meat since their closest relatives, wolves, eat meat in the wild. But they're not taking into account the fact that during the thousands of years of living together with people, dogs have adapted to completely different foods. Besides, meat doesn't contain enough nutrients and vitamins that dogs need, and it may contain parasites and pathogenic microorganisms and is quite hard to digest. Dogs eat grass when they're sick? False. Dogs eating grass is fairly common and completely natural. According to the Blue Cross, some of the reasons dogs eat grass is because they find it tasty, they're bored, or even if they're suffering from an upset stomach. While it can increase to ease sickness, you may find your pups nibbling grass because they're just bored. So this was all for this episode. Which fact surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments.